Hello friends, we continue our work and next our lecture. It's second part about the basic introduction, the basic topic. We talk in this whole topic about the experience of philosophy, and here we will talk about effects, about consequence of this experience. And the main task for us it is it's, uh, describe all effects and features of philosophy, describe main characteristic of philosophical consciousness. And here you see the basic uh, features about this consciousness, and about all these movements I will try to talk. Okay, I return your mind in previous lecture in moment where we talk about the basic experience, and this experience it's like challenge for us because um, we don't know what we must to do. We don't know how we can understand the situation. All our instruments uh, um, uh, um, useless for us because this situation is something impossible. And we remember that we distinguish two positions to this experience and to this basic situation. It is a moment when we accept and when we didn't accept. Because, okay, without any causes about this, only the fact. And if we accept it, if we accept this challenge for us and we try to develop in our own nature uh, the respond to these, of course we transform our nature and person. And here we can catch the main and very interesting moment of our philosophers about whom we will talk in history of philosophy. It is the passion, the desire and passion of a specific way of thinking. It is really like something what really need for our life, and it is for life these philosophers of course firstly, and it's like religion feelings what we have in sphere of religion, in sphere of belief, um, and we must and we have to describe different, and here we stand with the third standpoint, third region from third position, from third person, and we must describe different artifacts in culture and science. For example, notion of being of Heidegger, it the same the same passion, the same desire. It's like responding to this challenge, and um, thirst for harnessed growth, Stanisław growth, and fulfill yourself, Maslow, actualization yourself. And we must unite all these metaphors, and I think it will be more correctly and exactly because all these different metaphors talk about desire to meet our yourself, but it is what we in previous lecture named like something more in yourself. it's feeling that exists in myself, something what have not my nature, not myself, but somebody who close to me. It is something what really exists in his in those nature and his heart maybe. And it is only intuitions, but I must in this introduction talk about these intuitions. And this desire, it's like meet other yourself, something more in yourself. And we talk that this another to your own nature, it is like when we see as your shadow. It's like evil thing in your own nature because it's another aspect of your harnessed as your something more in yourself. It is metaphor of tragedy because the experience of tragedy where you emerge in center of conflict, your own understanding and vision um, by your shadow. It is vision from standpoint from this shadow of your person. Of course, it's two metaphors, but it's important for understanding the essence of transfiguration about what we have told in previous lectures. And here I must remember about Solaris in main Tarkovsky, Russian producer, maybe so, regisseur. And I will talk about one quote is film, and I think it's really the main idea. Very simple, of course. That Solaris, it's like embodiment our main passion of meeting with something more what exists in our heart, and it's more that we want to meet in our life. It is event, and our life will be like the great event when we realize this meeting. Of course, this fulfill yourself, this uh, difficult process, because when I fulfill yourself, it is the process when I must have a space in my own conscious, my own nature for this something more than myself. It is strange, but this wasting yourself, it is selflessness. It's process where I clear my own nature. And you see different ways of realization this aim. For example, war, like a way of soldier, uh, toil, not toil maybe, but yes, toil and wandering prior asceticism, like a way in religion, and this moment where religion, religious consciousness and philosophical consciousness stand in one point. And of course, we can say that this wasting yourself, we can name in another form. For example, free up space in itself for something more. Going out through going in. It's mm, this process really it's difficult for explanation and expressing. Usually, if you have these experience and it's you feel in this metaphor something very close to your own mind, it is something interesting for you. And interesting uh, here in this metaphor that this process very paradoxical, because um, this is a moment, this process when and where process of concentration in your deeper level of your nature. It's process of transcending, exciting maybe. It's difficult, not difficult, paradoxical, because it's a process in two controversial directions. Because concentration is way um, in your own nature, inside, in a way, and transcending, it's usually we represent, and we think that it is externally um, when we break external limits of your nature, or something external to your own objective limits, and etc. But here it is the same. It is something very close. It is something like a unit. Um, it's very important for understanding in other phenomena in philosophy, about what we'll talk in next step. And here you see the quote, the great Russian philosopher Vladimir Solovyov, in his paper, Historical Achievements of Philosophy. And I will not read all this quote, you can see it. I will see about the main moments. The Vladimir Solovyov talk about what really it's freed the human personal from external. By what? Yes, why philosophy free the human person from external violence and limits and etc. And his answer so, his responding so, um, only when philosopher and philosophy meet with something what result of my own and his own activity, only this we can accept like something what really correlate with the basic criteria of our freedom, because the main goal of my freedom, it is meeting with something more, with what I am, and have a value not for it if they are not obtaining by it itself. This is the main point about what I talked in previous slides and previous lecture. The same idea of transfiguration your own nature. And here, first step for explanation is basic features of philosophical mind and philosophical process of understanding, state of mind of philosophy, in philosophy more correctly. Of course, the first feature, radicality. It's the consequence from the idea that I must see yourself, because it's process unstoppability. When I can't stop I can't stop by external thing, by external object. This paradox, because only one thing can stop me. It is the event by myself. We went with myself. It is moment where I see myself. It is like where I recognize in something my own nature. It is, and philosophical tradition talk about this. It is the basic idea of basic phenomena of culture and spirit. For example, of art, where I see and feel it is beautiful. I see it and I feel it only because when I see something external and in structure of it, I recognize the something what very close to my, for example, state of my heart in now moment, because I feel in music here something what correlate with my state of my soul. It is only one cause for stopping the process understanding process where I will break different limits of my in my life, in my uh, thinking. And of course, here we see another phenomenon about what we have said in previous lecture, this phenomenon of theory, the phenomenon merge of science. And of course, it is moment where what is theory, where we can ask yourself and we must answer. It is moment when I see something objective, and this is not objective, because I mean that it is not object, something external. I see something like objective, but I recognize in this something internal, something subjective. This is the formula of what we really can name like a science, like a theory. A very good illustration, I think it is math for catching the essence of this process, because in math we have only products of our own mind, where we see only what our own mind create. But this is not something subjective. It is really the objectivity. It is a really strange objectivity. It is not like something what show us our feelings. Yes, it is some perception, I mean. It is not something what we see in external world. Not. It is another objectivity. It is theory. Another feature here, it is cynicism in uh, it's like proof, yes, because when we talk about cynicism or philosophy, of course it is not real. I mean, the external vision, this understanding, external understanding, when we talk about philosophy and philosophical truths from external position. Uh, Unstoppability permanent, overstepping the limits of given something objective. Yes, it is its formula and aphorism what show up the essence of effects. Why these facts we have here. Aphorism: every truth has a taste of cynicism. And we remember maybe from history of philosophy, ancient history of philosophy, about cynics, Greek philosophers who um, stand in opposition to Platonism and Plato. Um, and it is not something, it is really the synonymous, it is the same, but cynicism like cynicism, the same. And we must say that it is a fact, a process of unstoppability, because really not in our life we have different limits, we have different objects, not it is something negative. It is maybe something what we feel like something what have for us like mystery, like what very closely to God, very closely to very important for our, it is like our values, something really very important for us. And if we have no experience, we lose the relationship with this object, philosophical consciousness, if we have this aspect of our mind, will move us to process criticism this object. We will try to understand what really exists before us. If we have no experience, but we must say here that if we will have this experience, we will have the same effects too. These this request unstoppability, like request for us, we will try understand, we will try to open before us, before our mind, what really we feel, what really we feel like very important, like very what the essence of these values. That's why it is, we must say that it is the same process what we have in tragedy, because when we have no really relationship with object, for example, God or something sacred, very religious, for example, objects. Here I see that I have my limits of my language of English, but here we see that tragedy shows us our shadows. It is experience where our limits show us in another side, like not something positive but objective, and that's why negative shadows of our nature, it is always something negative, where we will see where we will see the objective realization, our shadows, our legs in of our souls or heart. We always see something what break our soul, break our character. Break, I mean that it is like it's like when we feel pain from something what we see. That's why we will talk about in the end of this lecture. That's why philosopher, when the philosopher make his own deal, want to kill, because we remember about start with Socrates, because when philosopher realized his own deal, his own work, it is so important. You remember previous lecture when we talked about certainty of values. That's why it's so important. And when philosopher realize it, it is very painful for us. That's why when we talk about tragedy, it is the same process what realized philosopher. It is the same process when overthrow an idol, broke our idols. Of course, all idols, it's like positive version of my shadows, embodiment of my shadows. What I tried don't see, because I don't want what I am, what my real nature. And of course, it is not process of scrillage. It is not something what really we usually understand in essence of philosophical thinking. It is the not formalized, maybe something. It is distinguish what I can't express by formal means. I mean this. It is very, very thin, distinguish, because for this need only the concentration, and I must to um, hold this concentration and of course tense in my own nature. It's very important for catching these distinguish. But it is so. And if we lose this concentration, we can't to distinguish cynic, yes, cynical aspect of philosophy and real aspect of philosophy, like process of tragedy, process of opening truth before your mind. uh, my English I must develop. Nevertheless, next features, it is non-utilitarianism, but more correctly I must say about, but not non utilitarianism, but super utilitarianism, because in sphere of philosophy, uh, okay, firstly I must say what real position of a position of utilitarianism. Yes, in Russian we talk утилитарный взгляд, утилитарное отношение. It means that we have utilitarian, useful relationship with something. It means that we see and feel that it's like it for us. It's useful only for us. It is only instrument, but not goal for us. I can see for to another human and won't use him. It is position from utilitarianism, of course, in very simple features. But what position of philosophy? When we will see the center of philosophical experience, it is center where stand your individuality, and it is very closely to position of utilitarianism, but where in this position non-utilitarianism. And here, of course, we must say that position of philosophy, it is position super utilitarianism, because the philosopher, and here we see another format, another version of closeness to the religion praxis, for example, and philosopher who use limit like instrument, limit something not useful for you, something what like death. You can represent in your mind, and what it's mean, death and opportunity of your death like instrument. It is very strange position, really, and it is true. It's very strange, without any jokes. But things what show what exists in our life, like this phenomenal death, it's real limit of our life. It is instrument for philosophical thinking, for philosophical life. That's why we can remember about dialogue of Plato, apology of Socrates, and remember the dialogue what really happened with Socrates and his students. It's this is idea. That's why philosophers want to see what happened with his soul after death. It is the moment where I stand before something what really I feel all my life, but I don't know what is it. I know what that I don't know something, but I know nothing, yes. But I come to see what really I know only after this limit. I think it is not so certain before your mind, but before your understanding. And for this, um, but I hope we return to this moment in our seminars maybe. Okay, it's paradox because unuseful, it's mean for philosopher. It is instrument. It is something what I use, something unuseful, use for. Usually in philosophy, it is instrument for understanding. It's paradox too, because in position of utilitarianism, your own life, it is go for another things. Of course, it is simple features, yes, without details. But in philosophy, it is another. We your own life, it is go for you. And for example, your understanding, it is another version about what another version what I have said, another formulation, this idea. Your life, it is your praxis, it is go for you. All your knowledge, it is only instrument for you. Yes, but when we talk about philosophy, it is another, because in philosophy, in philosophical sphere, in philosophy, the praxis, your life, your real life, it is means instrument for your understanding, for moment when you, yes, I know, it is moment that it's like go for your life. That's why, and it is another, this returning, yes, aberration can be only because my own attitude, relationship with the final end, with the limit of my nature, will be another. Only when I transform my relationship with this limit, I transform my relationship between to this sphere of realization, my nature, praxis and knowledge. In philosophy, transformation is okay. And next step. Uh, in this unpossibility, on stoppability, another version of another consequence from these, it is metaposition into these third forms, subjective aspect of this, subjective consequence. It is position when I stand in final process of understanding, when I wake up, yes, when I self-understanding already, but without object. And when I understood object, I understand myself. It is the synchronical processes only by understanding in my praxis life, in process of knowledge, yes. I can understand myself only when I have activity with object. And it is only one aspect, subjective aspect of this. And of course, exists another objective moment, and where I uh, like maybe okay, I must say so. It is moment when I see before me something, but I can't catch by what in my own mind I can realize this objective vision. I can catch these objects. When I talk about objective aspect, this experience of philosophy, I mean ontology. It's like synonymous for metaphysics and metaphysical objects. I talk about metaphysical object only when I finish the reality, only by object what exists above, yes, in metasphere, to the world, the real world what exists in my feelings, in my perceptions. Only by that world I can understand what really exists in my real world, in my uh, real things. I can understand what really exists here, and it is um, it is so because we understand only when we have before us wholeness of what we can and what we try to understand. Okay, and that's why exist through the com complexion. Yes, when I finished. And when we unite to these aspects of these unstoppability, and when I try to unite, you see that philosophy like a metaposition, and metaposition like essential feature of philosophical understanding. Mm, it is the process when what really was named by Hegel like a tension of concept. It is process where I can't stand in something. I can't stand inside in something, and I can't stand in external position. I can't stand in neutral position. All this position, it is something where not exist absent the real understanding. It is strange because really all this position, it is all really only possible position in our relationship with reality, with object of our understanding. But when we understand, it's mean only one. When we understand really, we standing in all these positions in one moment, in all third positions. Uh, all these position, it is like stopping this process of concreteness, realization of concreteness, your understanding. Of course, it is, I think, difficult for understanding, but it is a very important moment when your understanding can realize. Only you standing and you can hold your consciousness in position before moment when you catch essence. It is moment without stopping in skeptical position and dogmatical position or something third. Now, only catching, it is the moment where you have a transgressivity or your moment concentration and tension. Tension, for example, of conception, a tension of understanding. And in other version and in other like synonymous, what I use Mamardashvili, he talked about work of life. First, what need for your life like a person, like human, the same idea. And we have yes, final moments to this. Uselessness. In Russian we talk about излишество. its question, because when we talk about firstly and see from common vision, from usual consciousness, usual trivial, yes, we of course see that it is something strange. It is something not something what um, really we can use in our life. We think so. It is not so in reality, but we think. And it's a problem because the philosopher, why we see so, if we stand from position of usual consciousness. It is so because, for example, philosopher is specific of his consciousness. One of the features consists in what? He make the basis, an object of thought and life, to something not given to you. Strange, very. It is very, very closely to position of all these configuration of minds. That's why in philosophy we very often, I think, can find a person who realized in his own life all these features and characteristic. It is marginality, strangeness, strangers. Why so? The same cause of this, we remember about this. Philosophy is just a whim, but precisely that ununderstanding. Yes, it is something something strange, and we can't understand for what. That's why it is problem for explanation philosophy, for um, for catching the essence, these praxis and this knowledge. That's why it's really difficult for example, for teacher of philosophy who try to talk about essence philosophy, because I must remember about these aspects of understanding and catching from external position. Okay, final moments and generalization of all moments what I have told. Basic traits of it. Um, I will talk about inestimable value of philosophy. True of philosophers, strange. It is something akin to the value of a deaf cat. It's paradox in Zen Buddhism. I correlate these in this metaphor. In Zen Buddhism exists koan, or paradox. When teacher asks his student, can you say what the what the Zen Chan in China, what is this? Teacher answer, it is like that cat. Why? Ask him student. And he answer, because it is something what have no value. But you see that it is a game, of course. It is something what we must to distinguish and to see, because all elements of philosophy, features, traits of philosophy, what characterize philosophical praxis and institution of philosophy in the universe or something, where you want. No, it is real. This is shadow philosophy. It is real moments, because Okay, I will not talk about this longly, but the main idea of what consists in what we usually come to distinguish real value from unreal, something what we really can't understand. The first values of our life from something what exists like means for these values. For example, it's like if we will try to understand, distinguish between difference between garbage or air. We all know that air is something so important for our life. Garbage not so. That is game, but it's game realized in our life because we really can't to distinguish something important for life like human, and something what only not so important. I will say so. It is only instrument. For example, we must say about the sense of life and instrument and means of life. Usually we come to distinguish, for example, money, yes, money, and really something important. We very often think that money, it is the goal of our life. It is very simple example of explanation. But, and we, for example, lose our health, our family, our friends, and I can again and again repeat different examples what we lose in this passion for money. Of course, money need for our life, but it is only instrument. It is distinguished between Eric Fromm. He talked in his main life, his main work, being or having. The great work, I think, because in our life, to these things, to these phenomena exist without real distinguishing. We can't to see the real goal of our life. That's why we have problem, and that's why it is problem for philosophy, because the object of philosophy is first think something what catch our nature always and already. And when we talk about this, we will talk about something what stand behind my back and see by my eyes. But I don't remember that it is a real goal of my life. It is something what really important for me like human. That's all. It is final quote of Russian philosopher Husseinov. And I will not read you because I will not read it because I remember in some slides about this philosopher, and that's why I think the previous slide it will be like the final and the conclusion of all this lecture. That's all. I hope it was interesting for you. And if you have a question, you can write the messages, WhatsApp, or under this video. Thank you very much. That's all.